If you haven't heard about Anchor by Spotify, it's the easiest way to make a podcast with everything that you need all in one place. Let me explain. Anchor has tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. When hosting on Anchor, you can distribute your podcast on any listening platform like Spotify, Apple Podcast, and many, many more. It's everything that you need to make a podcast all in one place. And best of all, Anchor is totally free. Download the Anchor app today or go to anchor.fm to get started. Welcome to the Wartime Leadership Podcast, where we explore what spiritual resiliency looks like from different perspectives. We often focus on the physical, emotional, and social areas of resiliency, but too often neglect the spiritual pillar. This looks different for everyone. We will be exploring what spiritual resiliency looks like in the lives of our guests, who are people from all different walks of life. Today's episode is sponsored by Success Draft, where we help you transform your dreams into drafted plans. Head over to successdraft.com to get started on your future today. This episode's guest is Sara M. Sara is an award-winning author for her book, How I Survived the Killing Field. This book walks people through her experience of surviving mass genocide in the country of Cambodia. Sara, I have to say, I have had some really interesting guests. I have had some people that have poured into my life, but tonight I am super, super excited to sit down with you because your story is resiliency in a bottle. Like it is everything that you think of what a person needs to do to be resilient. Welcome, Sara.
Thank you so much, Nathan, for having me today.
Oh, well, let me tell you, we are the ones that are blessed to have you here talking to us. To get started, I'm just going to give you some softball questions, some warm-up questions, if you will. What is one thing that you find repulsive?
One thing repulsive. I think bullying.
Oh. Well, as the father of a teenager, I agree with you 100%. Bullying is definitely one thing that we have been able to touch on with our son. What is one thing that is in your shopping cart that you have not purchased yet? You can't bring yourself to buy it yet.
I will have to say a new car because I'm in need of one, but not ready yet.
You can't push the button yet.
No, not yet.
All right, Sara, who is your favorite superhero?
My favorite superhero, I will have to say Mother Teresa.
Oh, okay. That's a very good one, a very noble one too. Yeah, she was an amazing individual to a lot of people that needed her.
Beside my mom is also a superhero.
Oh, there you go. Always got to look towards mama. So I'm giving you 2 plane tickets. One is to somewhere that you've already been, and one is to somewhere that you have never been, but you want to go. Where are these 2 tickets to?
One to go back to Cambodia, and the other one is Australia.
Ooh, why? Any particular city in Australia?
Melbourne.
What draws you to Melbourne?
I have many cousins and mostly cousins who live there.
Okay. Well, that's definitely a good reason to go there. So, Sarah, why don't you take us back to pre-1975? Kind of walk us through your experience growing up in Cambodia and just kind of take us through what happened, what led up to where you are now.
Okay. I'll start with my childhood. That's when I start to remember. I remember grow up in the village in Cambodia, outside of the second largest city in Cambodia. And my family are farmers, and our life surrounded by nature, and I love the nature. I love everything. I love the river in front of our house. I love the fruit tree, a lot of exotic plants and vegetables and fruits. So my mom loved me very much because I was the firstborn, and I have a great grandmother who lived with us, and she spoiled me so much. But I didn't get spoiled.
You were the first grandchild. That's how it works, right?
Yes, I was the first one, and I feel so much love and secure. And my parents did not want me to grow up as the farmers. She always encouraged me to stay in school, and go get higher education, get a better job. So I remember so clearly. It's just like yesterday.
Wow.
And then when I became a teenager, the first thing that happened to me that was sad was my mom had an accident and she became paralyzed, complete paralyzed from her neck down. So she pretty much lay flat on her back all the time. So as the firstborn child, I become a caregiver.
About how old were you?
I was about 13, 14, something like that. Yeah. But I still pursue my school. Life is very challenging at home. And I have a little baby brother as well. So took care of mom and the baby brother and handle the school and the house, keep up with the housework, cooking, cleaning and everything. But I love my mom so much. I will do anything to help her to get better. All I want is for her to get better. So it seemed like hopeless because the hospital didn't do anything for her. So we took her back home to take care of her at home. So during those few years that I took care of my mom, we built such a wonderful, strong bond between mom and me. And I realized how much I love her and how much she loved me. So a few years later, she got better. It's a miracle. Nobody ever expect that, but she got better. And she was able to walk again. And then finally, she was able to go to work. And she saved up enough money to send me to college. So I went away from home to attend college in the capital city. That was about 200 miles away from home.
Oh, wow. So your mom got better though. So she was able to start taking care of the daily chores and everything that you had taken over?
Yes. So while I was in college, one day in 1975, To be exact, it's April 17. We just passed April 17 a few days ago. We remember that day when the communists took over Cambodia. Everything was shut down. Everything was shut down before they came in because we was just celebrate New Year. Cambodian New Year was celebrated in April, the middle of April. So I did not attend school that day, and everything was closed. So when they came in, we did not know what to expect. But we realized they came in with the military processing. The tank, the truck, the military people that walk, carry a big gun on their shoulder. And some people wave white flag. They wave white flag. They think that we are going to have peace. No more fighting. But people were so wrong. We never expected. The next day, they went door to door. They point the gun at us and say, get out now. Hurry. So we were trembling. I was trembling and tried to grab a few clothes, a little bit of food to get out. And then we walk on the street. Everybody get out of the house and get on the street. It was miserable. The temperature was very hot. It was about 100 plus degree. And we don't have a place to call home anymore. We sleep on the ground at night. And we drink water in the river. When we need some water, we go to the river and drink water. And we don't have a bathroom. We don't have anything to change or anything like that. So for a few weeks, we end up in the village. The village is the base where they already train the village people how to treat us when we arrive. So they give us a temporary place to stay, and then immediately they push us to work in the rice field. And I was trembling because I don't know what to do. I was fearful for my life. But within the next couple of weeks, they was making an announcement. They said, if anyone want to move to Battambang, please register, please sign up. When I heard the word Battambang, that's the province where my parents live. And I signed up right away. I want to go home. So the next few days.
All this happened when you were in college, when you were away at school, and they came in and made you go out into the fields to work, and then gave you an opportunity whenever they said your home province. You were thinking, I get to go home.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah. Because when they came in, I really want to go home then, but everything was shut down. There's no bus, no airplane, nothing. I couldn't even call. By then, the phone call is very rare. Nobody used the phone. So, but now they make this announcement, and I was so happy that I might have a chance to find my family. So when I signed up, and then they bring people who sign up to supposed to go to Battambang. But when they drop us, I realized this is not Battambang. This is in the middle of nowhere. how can I find my family? It's nowhere. It's in the middle of nothing. So disappointed. And then later on, they do another announcement. They said they are looking for a volunteer, the youth, the single people who want to go get trained and being in a separate environment from the family. So I keep moving on. I keep register because I'm just on the move. I want any opportunity that I might have to move closer to might be an opportunity to find my family. So again, I signed up again. And this time is big disappointment. I got into a camp, the big camp. They hold 1,000 single men and women. And their rule is ridiculously harsh. So they push us to work in the rice field all day long, like 16 hours a day. And in the heat, in the tropical heat. And we were giving very little food to eat. And we don't have much time to sleep because we work so much. And now no rest. We work 7 days a week. So what do you think? How long can I endure? Can I stay? Keep up with all this demand? Not long. Within less than 2 months, I became sick. I contracted several diseases. And many other people in the camp also become sick. But we still have to go to work every day. Doesn't matter how sick we are, because if we don't work, we don't get any food to eat. So
it almost sounds like their biggest weapon that they used was the concept of hope. I hoped to get closer to my family. I hoped to be fed. It's almost weaponizing hope.
Yeah. They kind of blackmail us. If we don't work, we don't eat. So, but one day when I cannot work anymore, I'm just too sick to move. They sent me to a different place, a different shelter. And I thought it's a hospital. That's what they told me, that you need to go to the hospital. And when I arrived, I realized it is not a hospital. It's the fake hospital. There is no doctor, no medicine. There's nothing to help us to get better. It's just a place for us to rest away from the working people, and then a place for us to die. Because if we cannot get better, we are going to die. There's only two ways. So I realized that I'm not going to stay here. I can't stay here long because I will get more disease and I will get sicker. And I'm too sick already. I cannot afford to add any more. So I was searching and looking for my way to run away. But where can I go? If I go back to the workplace, I can't work. If I stay, I will die. If I run away, I will get shot at. I'm trapped. I was trapped. So I was searching in my soul, looking for a solution. Then I came up to an idea. I remember when I was young, I remember listening to a story that my mom read at night. In that story, there was a story that God saw the people the bad people that abuse the women and the children. And God sent the angel to save them. And from then, I already make up my mind that there is God. God knows. So now, when my life is about to end, I thought about God. He's the only solution for me.
Wow.
So I start to pray. I wait until nighttime so that they don't see me. They don't, this communist regime, they don't believe in any religion. They don't want you to pray. They don't want you to believe in anything. So I wait until nighttime and I kneel on my knee and pray and ask God to help me to survive. And I pray every night. That's the only solution I can find. So after I praying for a while, one day I feel like I have enough energy to walk out from there. I sneak out very early in the morning so that everybody not waking up yet. So I sneak out and I went back to the work camp. And I'm so grateful that this young team leader saw me. She saw me coming in and she, took me in her group and she said, you stay with me, I'll try to find something for you to do. But she was wrong. I was too sick. I can't do anything. And then the next thing she told me, she said, you are too sick to stay with me. You can go to the kitchen and work and help them out at the kitchen. I already talked to them and they can have you help them. So that was a life-saving event for me. I am so grateful. So my prayer was answered. That's how God answered my prayer. He put me in this woman's arm, and she's kind enough to help me out. So I was working in the kitchen, and I start to feel better because I have extra food, I have extra rest, and don't need to go to work in the heat. So gradually, I feel a little better. And finally, I look much better. That they saw me look better, feel better. They don't let me stay there. They pull me out. They pull me out and throw me back to the rice field again. So
now, by this point, you had probably gained a lot more strength and had been able to recoup. So there was a lot of moments there where God interjected and really filled the needs that you had in the moment. It may not always seem like the right thing is happening, but even in the bad times, you have to be able to see moments of goodness and grace.
Yes. That was God's grace. Only God knows what I need. He knows what I need. So I am, even though they pull me out from the kitchen, I'm not grumble. I'm grateful that I have that time to restore my health. Even not 100%, but at least like around 80%. At least I'm not catching my breath. I'm not about to die. I was in the brim of losing myself. I was almost didn't make it. Some of my good friends told me, don't take a nap. And later on, I realized people that took a nap, they are too exhausted. They don't have enough strength to wake up. So I was at that point. But now I feel much better. So even though they pull me out from the kitchen, I'm still feel grateful that I have that opportunity. So I endure 4 years in the rice field. And my health started to decline again. But at least I have that moment, that break time. So
Wow. 4 years of enduring. Now, your family was a farming family, correct? So you had grown up working in the fields, but not like this.
No. So toward the end of 4 years, there was some commotion. I heard some gun, some fighting sounds in the far away. And then the leader of the camp start to move the camp. The camp is not a building structure. It's just a place where they control. The guards are all holding gun and ready to shoot anytime. So that's the camp that I'm talking about. So when there's some commotion, some gun sound in the far background, they start to move the camp. And where do they move the camp to? They move us closer and closer to the jungle. Move to the jungle in the middle of nowhere, deeper and deeper in the jungle. And at that time, I realized that's not the direction I want to go. I want to go to Battambang, where my family might be there. So, and then I start to think about looking for a way out. But I'm fearful because I'm watched all the time. There's people with guns. Only one trigger can kill you right away. So I want to run away. I want to find my freedom, but I have to be careful. But eventually, when we get deeper and deeper into the jungle, I say, that's enough. That's enough, far enough. So I start to make plans to escape. I'm willing to take a risk. There's no life, there's no freedom to live with them. And there's no life in the jungle. I don't want to live in the jungle. So I make a plan. I decided I had to go. So I gathered 3 of my friends, my close friends. I asked them to go with me because I need some support. My health was declining almost back to the way it was. So I'm very frail, but I'm courageous. I'm ready to go. So I asked my friend to go with me, and they said yes. So yes. And we made plan to escape that night. Well, we wait for a couple nights, and we try to spot out the path. How are we going to do and all that? Because we don't have an idea how to go about to get out from there, because there is no GPS or anything.
you just kind of had to look up and go. Wow.
There's no map, no direction. And in the jungle, it's very dark. When the sun sets, it's getting dark and dark and dark, very dark. Because there is no electricity everywhere. But thank goodness, God protected us again, one more time. I still believe that He directs our steps so that we don't get lost in the middle of the jungle, wander around all the night long. So we just try to track down where we came from and try to back out that way. But it's not easy to find. So finally, to make a long story short, I finally get out from there. Get out from the captivity.
So what guided you out? Was there anything that, like, could you see you followed towards the moonlight or just anything like that?
No, it was just a gamble.
Wow.
Really. Nothing to help us, to guide us. We just guess. We guess that, oh, this is where we came from.
Wow.
Yeah. So when we get out from there, the morning come, we turn back, and we don't see them, and we realize we are free. We're free, and we survive. It's amazing. So, yeah, and then we keep walking until we got to the village, and we found out that the rest of the country had been liberated 4 months ago.
Wow.
When we start to hear the sounding, the gun fight and everything in the far away, that's when the time the whole country was liberated. But we had to escape. So when I saw some people and asked for direction and asked for some help to get some food to eat, and we sleep on the ground, so we get used to it. But food, we need some food and we need some water. So we asked for direction, and they told us, how to go and so on. We just followed direction. And then finally, we were able to get to my place that I used to have the house. But when I get there, there's no house. The house was destroyed. And my family are not there. But to make a long story short, I tracked down and found them.
They were still alive.
They were still alive.
Wow.
At one point, they almost get wiped out during the transition, during the liberation. My family tried to get away from the communist Khmer Rouge, and they saw them, and they almost pull the trigger. But that's I wrote in the book, in one chapter, telling about my family's story. But they are still alive when I found them, and they thought that I was dead because nobody ever heard from me, and they gave away all my clothes, and my mom did not recognize me because I lost all the weight. I was too skinny.
So how did your mom know it was you then?
When I spoke, she recognized my voice.
Isn't that amazing?
Said, yes. The sound, our voice doesn't change much.
Yeah, but it's just the idea that your mother couldn't recognize you from your physical appearance, but could hear you and in that moment know it was you.
Yes. She also told me that she recognized my forehead.
Well, there you go. You do have distinct figures. There you go.
I talked to one of my friends. I told this story to one of my friends, and she said, "Oh, okay. I can relate to that because I have baby, and I look at the forehead all the time." But
I guess that's one way to do it. Wow. Yeah. But that's awesome that you found your family. They were still alive. So then how did you all end up? Did everybody come to the US or was it just you?
At first, it was just me. So I took one whole year one whole year I was staying with my family and enjoying our reunion, and I need to recover my health. I have so many health conditions, so it took me more than a year to recover. And then my mom realized that the country is still very chaotic. Nothing is working, and everything was destroyed, and there's no future, and there's a danger for me as a single young woman. So she see that danger for me, and at that time she was not doing well. She's sick. My mom have a lot of health challenge since she had that accident. She never be able to recover 100%. So at that time, my mom was very, very sick. She cannot travel. So I'm the only one who can travel. And she said, honey, you need to go. And I cried all night long for 2-3 nights before we leave, before I leave. She paired me up with one of her cousins who also planned to travel to the border, and she wanted me to go with him. So finally I decided to leave for the sake of the family. I will go out and looking for a new life, and hopefully one day I can come back and help out. So that was the plan. And when I got to the Thai border, it's a journey. It's dangerous also, but I made it out to the other side, and I found a refugee camp. And that's how, so I got settled in that refugee camp, and I made a connection with my mom's cousin who came to United States as a student. So he sponsored me to come.
You know, it's really interesting how the first time you were taken away from your family, you didn't know it was going to happen. It was just something that happened and you had to react to it. The second time, you know, you were taken away from your family, you were brought back together. And the second time you knew it was coming and you knew it was happening. How did that feel? I mean, I know you said you were crying, but how did it make you feel to know that now here it is a second time, but you knew it was for a betterment?
Yes, I cry because of the separation. I cry because I'm the only one that can go. I wish I can take my brother with me, but it's just too many complications. It did not work out. Yeah.
So, Sara, can you define for us what it means to be spiritually resilient?
Spiritual resilience is that to have hope, to have faith in something bigger than ourselves.
Okay, so how did you build that for yourself during your captivity and then post captivity when you were reunified with your family? How did you build it?
Well, I don't think I did anything special to build it, but I've just searched in my soul that, you know, there's something better than me. There's something higher than me, more powerful than me, that can help me, that I can tap into that resource, that power.
Yeah, exactly. So in tapping into that, how did you build it with your family? Like when you came back to them, how did your spiritual resiliency help you in that unification process with your family?
I was so grateful. I'm grateful that something that I believe, something that I did very little on my part, but it's some helpful forces that helped me to come to that point.
You know, I think there was a lot of moments where God filled a void in that need. There was a lot of spiritual resiliency, but that spiritual resiliency, you're right, it is definitely found in something bigger than ourselves, because that's kind of what that spiritual resiliency is. It is something else that fills a void. So I think that void was filled in a lot of different ways while you were away, but it's a bank. You have to invest in it in order to withdraw from it.
Mm-hmm. Yes, yes, that resiliency come from my love, the love that I have for my family.
And something that somebody tried to weaponize against you in the form of hope, you used to fill those voids in those moments. So that's absolutely amazing. You know, usually at this point, I ask how about a time that you had to use spiritual resiliency to make it through something, but your whole story through that is perseverance through. But now, how did you, once you got done, you got to the States, you came here, how was that transition for you, going from Cambodia, making it across the border, and then getting to the US?
Well, it's a dream come true that I was able to get out from difficulty and arrive in the beautiful country. But it's the same time, it's a lot of work. It's very challenging. I did not speak the language, and I don't, well, when you don't speak the language, you are pretty much handicapped and you have a hard time finding the job. So, I had to work very hard to adapt to the new lifestyle, but it's a lot easier than enduring in the right sphere. So although it's a lot of hard work, but it's for better life.
Yeah. I mean, in my opinion, nothing could have been harder than surviving the camp for that long. But now here you are in the States. So my wife is Filipino. And so we kind of saw that in her in making it through to Saipan and then to Guam with me and then to the US for her to experience. So I can just imagine for you during the 80s, 81, transitioning to the States, how incredibly just different that would be.
Yeah.
That's something to overcome.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. So for you that have familiarity with the people that came from another country, yes, you can see that. But for some people who have no exposure, they didn't think of the challenges that we are facing. But there are a lot of kind people. I got a lot of help from the women ministry in the local church. It was the church that helped me get started with my new life.
Well, you know, that's good to have that foundation to be able to build upon and to build relationships, which is the key to a lot of that healing, is in the form of relationship. So now your book, Surviving the Killing Field, why did you write that?
I wrote that because after I told my story a few times to my friend, and they saw that my book have a lot of value that can help a lot of people. So that's one idea. And the second idea, at one point when I gave a talk to a small group, and I realized one of the women in the group, she cried, and I found out that she cried because she lost one of her child through suicidal. And that woke me up real quick. And I realized that, wow, I thought that my life was too very difficult. But people who live in this beautiful country still don't appreciate their life and their life. And I want to share my story. I thought that my story can help those people to change their mind. So that's one of the reasons I wrote.
Well, and you're right, Sarah. I think that today we don't want to underestimate what somebody's going through, because somebody's battle is different than our own. Mm-hmm. But to understand that other people have been there and what they've gone through, that's why we started this podcast, was to help people understand that each of the pillars are important and you have to fix each of them. And where one is lacking, you need to repair it. You need to get behind it and fix it, because yours might have been in the physical side, where mine might be in the mental, where I need to take time to focus on that mental, and just helping people understand what spiritual resiliency looks like and how it can be different in your life and mine. So understanding where people are in that moment is just as important, but also understanding that we've all been through stuff. It affects us differently. So I think that your book definitely does do that. What do you want people to get out of the book? What do you want them to take away?
I want them to, my book share my story about my love for my family, how I started out from my mom's childhood, how she struggled and how she built up her business idea and to become a businesswoman before she married my dad. And also I want to share how love is so important, especially in the difficult time. When we go through any challenging time, we want to be close to the people that we love, our family. Yeah. Everybody feel that, because when you are going through hard time, you want to be close to your family because they give you comfort. So my story just showed them that just having that thought, just having that love, it can save your life. In my case, I give that credit to the power of my love for my family. Yeah. And also the power of persevering. You don't give up. The determination, whatever you want, you can work for it, no matter how difficult it is. You make determination. You can do it.
So the name of it is How I Survived the Killing Field. Where can people go to be able to purchase this?
They go to my website, saraim.com/book.
Okay, so that is SARAIM.com/book.
Yeah.
Well, I know that my copy is getting to me before this airs, because I am really looking forward to reading. And speaking of reading, what books do you recommend for our listeners?
Well, I like everything that Napoleon Hill was pulled together. I like his concept and how much he did the research and so on. So Napoleon Hill's book is my favorite. And the next book, and equally important, I like the 7 Habits of Most Highly Effective People by Dr. Stephen Covey.
Oh, absolutely. One of the greatest books of all time, for sure.
Yeah.
So Sarah, what final words do you have for our listeners? How would you wrap this up?
I want to encourage people that you need to have a purpose in life. The purpose that is beyond yourself. Well, for me, I try to survive because I'm not the subject. My family is the subject. My family is my purpose. So everybody need to have a purpose. So you might have more than one purpose. So I fulfilled my purpose many years ago. So now my next purpose is different. But everybody should have one.
So you're saying to find your purpose and live it out.
Yes.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, today's episode with Sara. Sara, thank you so much for blessing us with this time. You definitely have inspired us to find that next step in our life. Today's episode is only possible thanks to my friend and producer, G. Frazier, with 369sounddesign.com. He is truly one of the hardest working people that I know. He has one of the hardest jobs that I know because, Sara, he gets to make me try to sound good, and that's really hard to do. So we are blessed by the entire team here at the Wartime Leadership Podcast. We will see you next time. Be blessed.